send the thunder home. Lillard, long range three.
Beautiful morning. Get the sun up right.
Another late week episode of CEO Sports Talk is coming your way, and we've got a good one this week. It's been a good week of sports. All four major American sports are going on at the moment, which is a fun time as a sports fan. So World Series starts today as you watch this, and yeah, Astros Phillies. I mean, game one might be over by the time you're watching this. Who knows? But yeah, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about college football. We're gonna talk about NFL. And yeah, we have a lot to talk about today. Excited to get into it.
Yeah, it should be a really good episode. And we haven't really had like a sports update episode in a while because we've been doing like a lot of prediction centered stuff, which is good. And we're going to continue to do that. Our next episode after this will be a really big one. It should be out on Sunday, I believe November 6th is the date. And that's going to be the CCS prediction videos when the brackets come out. That's a great day. We did it last year with Ethan Castle. He'll come on once again this year. And then the following week, 13th, we're going to have World Cup predictions, which I cannot wait for. I'm sure Oliver can't. A little winter wonderland for the World Cup in Qatar, so we'll get into that.
Yeah, super excited. Obviously feels a little weird the World Cup hasn't happened yet, and it's late October, but excited for that. And yeah, for your Bay Area high school football fans, stay tuned for Sunday, November 6th, as we will go over the playoff brackets. Yeah, so let's get into it. Tomorrow night, 5:03 Western time, the 106 win Houston Astros, number 1 seed in the American League, will take on the 6th seed, the team that barely snuck into the playoffs, Philadelphia Phillies, and that's the magic of postseason baseball. Anything can happen. We saw it with the Braves last year. Braves won 86 games, albeit in 161 games because they had one canceled due to COVID. But yeah, a kind of similar story. Another Astros team facing off against a playoff team, but a kind of mediocre NL East team. And we'll see how it goes. But right now, Phillies are super hot. Astros haven't lost yet in the playoffs. Swept the Mariners and swept the Yankees. So Astros looking good. Game one tomorrow, we have Aaron Nola, the ace of the Phillies versus the ace of the Astros in the fine wine of Justin Verlander. So obviously a lot of power on both sides. You see Schwarber, his 46 home runs versus Yordan Alvarez, arguably the best hitter in the MLB. Dude just rakes. So I think it's going to be a good series. I think Phillies have the advantage when it comes to the lineup, but Astros pitching is just hard to beat, man. So do you ride with the underdog story here, Casey, or are you taking the juggernaut Astros to take care of them here in the game and in the series?
Yeah, as much as I would love to go with, continuing the Philadelphia Phillies amazing run, the St. Peter's March Madness run, I'm going to go with the Astros to win the World Series here, as I do think they are the best team in baseball this year, and I think they're going to win this World Series. However, man, don't count this Phillies team out. They've had an amazing run so far this playoffs, and we've seen it time after time with the MLB. I mean, I predicted the Cardinals to win the World Series, and obviously that was wrong. However, I think I got my prediction somewhat right where someone was going to make a run. We see this in MLB. It's rarely 1v1 in the championship or the World Series. We saw it with the Braves last year. We saw it with the Giants 3 times, 2010, 2012, 2014. And we saw it with the Nats in 2019. We're seeing it with the Phillies here. So they could easily win this. They have a solid staff, and they're getting hot at the right time of the year. But I'm going to go with the Astros to ultimately win it, as I do think they're the best team in baseball in the 7-game series. I think they'll win 4 games first.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going with the Astros in this. Again, I think a lot of the country is rooting for the Phillies. And yeah, you mentioned it. Like, it's just a common theme in baseball with these underdog stories. For some reason, it seems to be NL East teams a lot too: Nationals, Braves, and Phillies. But yeah, I don't think the Astros are going to let themselves lose in the World Series again. I think I predicted Astros Dodgers, if I'm not mistaken. So, but yeah, the Dodgers, man, they choked as they usually do. And I thought they were the best team in baseball. You're wrong. But if it wasn't them, it was the Astros to me. And yeah, I mean, Verlander Nola is gonna be good. This game is gonna be Wheeler versus undecided, but I'm gonna guess it's gonna be Framber Valdez. So, but Wheeler and Nola as a 1-2 combo is just great for these Phillies and the Astros. Man, I think they have advantage in the whole staff because I think they have like Lance McCullers as their 4 starter, which is just absurd because he's a 2 and 3 or any other staff.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I think Bryce Harper's been on absolute fire this postseason. Kyle Schwarber's hitting bombs. So I really like that. I think it's a pretty fair matchup. But I
Yeah.
think and Altuve's been struggling. I think Yordan Alvarez is gonna be key in this series for the Astros because he's their best hitter, and I think if he can supply a good amount of offense, the Astros won't have to struggle too much. So my final prediction is I'm going Astros in 5.
Yeah, I like the Astros in 6. And I'm curious, are you one of those people that like is happy for Bryce Harper right now, seeing him win, especially after his team won it all in 2019 when he was gone? Or are you disappointed like a Harper hater? Because I think it's kind of a mixed reaction right now. I'm personally happy seeing him do well, possibly getting himself a ring.
I'm happy for him. I thought it was kind of sad when he left the Nationals and they won the World Series right after he left.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool, like a 2-time MVP, an icon of this decade in baseball. I think it'd be really cool to see him get a ring. And I know,
Yeah. And he's aging like fine wine, kind of. He needs to be in that. I mean, I thought he fell off 3 years ago, and then the last 2 years, man, he's been killing it.
yeah, like I feel like when he joined the Phillies initially, he wasn't as good, and then he popped off, won the MVP last year. So yeah, and he broke his hand, but he was kind of on pace to win the MVP again this year. So the guy's a really good player, and he's a reason why Phillies are in the position they are. So really, we're set for a great series. I love the World Series. I kind of, as much as people hate Joe Buck, I kind of miss him that he's not going to call it this year. But Joe Davis, the Dodgers commentator, is actually really good, and
He is, yeah. Even though he's biased, but he's very good.
yeah,
A lot
he's
of people
commentated
complain about
the Phillies a lot this far this postseason too. So I think he's a very good replacement for Joe Buck for this World Series. And yeah, we're set for a good one tomorrow, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Let's go.
Yep. All right. Let's move on to NFL. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's do a little NFL update since we haven't touched on it in a few weeks. Starting with the AFC East. The Buffalo Bills continue to ball out. Their only loss, I believe, is the Dolphins and the Jets. My prediction came right. They're looking really good. Zach Wilson's now back. They're 5-2. The Dolphins are 4-3, and the Patriots were looking solid. Had 2 wins in a row, and then had a really bad loss on Monday Night Football to the Bears. So, Oliver, let's touch on the AFC East and your Pats.
Yeah, so Bills, we knew it. They're going to be the powerhouses of the AFC East, and they're going to be like that for a while. No surprises. Jets, sorry, Will, but they're not that good, dude. They're 5-2. But they got crushed by the Ravens. They should have lost to the Browns if Kevin Stefanski didn't have a coaching breakdown. They got crushed by the Bengals. They beat the bad Steelers. They crushed Skylar Thompson and the Dolphins. They beat a bad Packers team this year, and then they barely beat a team with starting Brett Rippon at quarterback. So not very moved by the Jets, but I probably will eat my words because the Patriots play them in like 3 days. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Dolphins look so good. They're 4-0 with Tua, I think. Did all 3 losses come without Tua? I don't know about that actually. Tua. No, Tua, but half of Tua. Lost. Okay, so yeah. They look good with Tua. I'm glad Tua's finally taking a break. Step up. Pats. I mean, this game is in Miami. We don't play well in Miami. I'm just gonna disregard that. Steelers, that was a nice win. I mean, should have won by more, but it's whatever. Ravens, we kept this one close throughout, but ended up losing by 11. Packers, I know they're not that good this year, but took them to OT with Bailey Zappi in his first game. Lions shut him out. Browns crushed. but this Bears game kind of all the hope I had that was building up is kind of all gone after this game. Because defense, which was a strong suit, held the best scoring offense through 4 weeks in the Lions, 0 points, completely broke down. Justin Fields had his best game probably as a professional, and the Bears just mowed through us. Offense couldn't get going. No real quarterback situation is foggy. Don't really know what's going on. And that was a gimme win. The Bears aren't very good, let's be honest. And that's a kind of momentum builder. I mean, you already won 2 in a row, have a really easy stretch coming up. Have the Jets and twice and the Colts. We'll see about the Jets though. I don't know. Maybe they finally have a number, but in the past, Patriots kind of own the Jets. But we'll see. 3-4, bottom of the division, kind of sucks. But hey, we started 2-4 last year and we made the playoffs and won 10 games. So, all right. You want to talk about the AFC West a little?
Yeah, so the AFC West, I mean, we initially predicted this division to be the best division in football, Oliver. And half of the teams have been solid, but man, the Raiders and Broncos have not lived up to the expectations this year so far. Especially the Broncos, their offense has been awful, and the Raiders really have been subpar. For the Chargers, I'm sure they'll make the playoffs, and then the Chiefs look really good. I saw the game in person on Sunday when they played the Niners, and their offense was just unstoppable against a really solid Niners defense. So yeah, and by the way, we haven't actually touched. Oh, we'll get on the McCaffrey trade in a minute, but yeah.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, looking like how I predicted it this year so far. I knew Chiefs would still be the best team. I mean, yeah, that team's just crazy. AFC North, Ravens at the top. They've won some bad games, but I really think they're better than this record. I think they could easily be 6-2 or better. Bengals kind of had a slow start, but are starting to turn things around. Have won 2 straight. Browns have lost 4 straight. Started off 2-1, then they're now 2-5. Do not look good at all. We'll see how they look when Deshaun Watson comes back, but they have no weapons on offense. I mean, when Donovan Peoples-Jones, your number 1 receiver, is not great. And the Steelers also look bad. Mike Tomlin's record of not having a losing season thus far as NFL head coach might come to an end this year. Do you have any thoughts on the NFC North?
Honestly, the NFC North is a division which is known as a gritty, chippy division. The Steelers are going to compete with this Ravens, Bengals, or Browns team no matter what their record is, I feel like, this year. Rookie QB. If the Steelers were to play the Ravens on a primetime game, that game is going to be close, whether you like it or not. But the Ravens won tonight on primetime. They looked really good. Obviously, the Tampa is not the same this year, it looks like. But the Ravens are going to make the playoffs. They're the best team in this division. The Bengals are starting to get it together, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And in my opinion, Oliver, I don't know about you, but I especially without Deshaun Watson, I think this Browns team may be one of the best 2-5 teams out here. They've had a lot of close games, coaching errors. I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like they could easily be like 4-3 or something.
I can see that. Yeah, it's just their offense is pretty bad, but their running attack's great.
Mhm.
Defense is all right, but their running attack really carries them.
Yeah.
And then the worst division in football. Oh, actually, no, second worst division. Yeah, probably second worst division in football. That's AFC South. I'd say Colts are one of the worst 3-3-1 teams, I guess. Out there, Titans are surprisingly good. They started 0-2, have won 4 straight, coming off a bye. Jags are 2-5 after starting good. They started 2-1, beat the Chargers, and Texans aren't very good at football, but they're competing.
Yeah, the Texans really, the Jaguars really fell off. I thought they were going to be really good after this first 3 weeks, but has not worked out for them recently.
Yeah. NFC East, surprisingly, has been the best division in football this year. 6-0 Eagles, 6-1 New York Giants. Who would have thought coming this year? Not me. I thought they'd be one of the worst teams in football.
Yeah.
5-2 Cowboys, mostly without Dak Prescott. Cooper Rush did a fine job stepping up, and the Commanders are 3-4. Have won 2 straight though.
It's
But their cards are
insane.
500 too.
I mean, literally 2 years ago in 2020, this NFC East was like the joke division that none of these teams even deserved to make the playoffs. I believe the Commanders like won on like a Nate Sudfeld game. And now here we are. The NFC Beast is actually a thing. We got 3 playoff teams and the worst teams 3 and 4. It's unreal how fast it shifted. The Eagles are legit. Shout out Justin who came on the show. The Giants are legit. They traded away Kadarius Toney today. But I mean, their run game is doing really well, and their defense is surprisingly really solid. And Daniel Jones. So yeah, this NFC East is probably the best division of football right now. It is.
It is, yeah, it's crazy. And if you told me that the Seahawks through 7 games would be at the top of the NFC West, I wouldn't have believed you either. But I'm a big Geno Smith guy, man. I love his story. Really like the guy, and they're playing really good football. Running attack's great. They lost Chris Carson retired. Rashad Penny stepped up. Rashad Penny's out for the season probably. Kenneth Walker steps up. I like this next man up mentality at running back. They're running the dang ball. They have good weapons on offense, and defense is actually playing better, and then they're outperforming themselves. So the Seahawks team's actually not that bad. Rams 3-3 coming off a bye. Niners 3-4 have lost 2 straight, and the Cardinals also at 3-4 coming off a Thursday night win against the Saints.
Yeah, this division.
Yeah, go ahead about the NFC West.
Yeah, I think anyone in this division can win. Not the Super Bowl, the NFC West. The Cardinals obviously still have a really solid, maybe the most consistent offense so far. Even though they're in last place. The 49ers seem like they're an all-star team on offense, but yet they can't put the pieces together lately. Last game against the Chiefs was against the Chiefs, but I mean, a very consistent Shanahan second half choke right there where it just fell apart, and the defense was a rare struggle right there. But they traded for Christian McCaffrey. I like what they did there. They brought in another great piece. They're just gonna have to protect Jimmy, and they're gonna have to realize that the down the middle balls are got to do something else because that's all that's working for them right now. For LA, they're gonna have a huge game against San Francisco this weekend. We'll see what happens. And then Seattle, I remember asking like Drew Lock or Geno Smith, and we both disagreed with the Geno Smith start. But man, he's been really solid so far. And I cannot believe that someone told me the Giants versus Seahawks would be the only win versus win matchup this week.
Yeah, crazy, man.
It'd be crazy. Yeah.
I hate betting. I keep thinking Giants are gonna start losing, but I actually do think Seahawks are gonna win that one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how Christian McCaffrey works in the Niners offense. That's gonna be electric. NFC North, Vikings at 5-1. Honestly, I didn't even realize they were that good. But yeah, it makes sense. 3-4 Packers just have not been good. Lost 3 straight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bears at 3-4, outperforming themselves. But us two can't really talk. They beat both of our teams.
Yeah.
And then
somehow.
Lions at 1-5. I thought the Lions team this Lions team would be a little better, but again, they're not terrible. They're putting up points, but they're just letting up way too many points.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
I think the Vikings are right now top 5 team in the NFL for sure, maybe even 3. Kirk Cousins is playing well besides.
Yeah, I like that team too. NFC South, the worst division of football by far. I mean, this division is so mid. Falcons might be that. I feel like this division reminds me of the NFC East from a few years ago, like that you were mentioning earlier. I think Falcons are going to end up being a playoff team. Actually, I still think Bucks win this division, but it's going to be at like 8-9. Maybe Brady has some playoff magic, but everyone in this division looks really bad right now.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see who wins this. I mean, I think the Falcons may be the best team so far in this division. The Saints, I feel like the Saints are better than the Panthers, but man, I don't know. This is an atrocious division, as you said. I do like the Falcons to get it done. But also I could see the Bucks. I mean, they are the most experienced team. But yeah, awful division. The NFL is wide open right now, especially the NFC. Like, just asked us who the best team in the NFC is. I guess the Minnesota Vikings has to be. Oh, sorry, the Eagles and then the Vikings. I mean, like, are the Eagles really going to win the NFC? I don't know. It's wide open versus the Bills and
Giants
the
are top. Giants are top 3 team in the NFC for sure, which is it's just so weird, man.
We got some teams on top. It's fun.
Shout out Daniel Jones, man. He's kept getting down. He's having a great year, career year right now for the Giants. Saquon Barkley's revitalizing his career. Shout out Brian Dable, man. Just a fantastic job taking over the reins of Joe Judge.
Coach of the year for sure. It's not even close.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. If he continues on this path, or even his little skid, is still be the front runner.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a little NFL update for you guys. Kind of our thoughts on every single team thus
Mhm.
far this season.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
should we do outro?
Yeah, sure.
Alright.
So that will
Alright. Go for it. 3, 2, 1, go.
conclude our episode here today. Talk about World Series and a little NFL. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Get ready for the big episode next week. We're excited for it. And yeah, we will see you guys next week. And with Ethan Castle.
Yeah, it's gonna be electric. Thank you, Ethan, in advance for coming on. See you guys.